So how are you today?
I'm doing well. Doing very well. How are you?
Well at the same time.
Very well.
All right, well, good. Today is a special episode. It is coming out the day after my birthday.
Happy early birthday, by the way. I hear you're going to be 21.
I was out there toting for compliments, so thank you for fulfilling that.
For your listeners, I hope that they all do something very nice for you. It's June the 10th, by the way, at 1:32 a.m. If you'd like to participate early, even though this is going to come out later.
I doubt we'll wait till 1, but we'll see.
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I've just waited so long to try alcohol until I'm 21. Do you think that warrants a trip to Vegas, maybe? Maybe a free pair of shoes, $5,000?
Well, I don't think $5,000 is going to be in the scheme, but I'll help you invest wisely to help you get on the right track. Now, the trip to Vegas, that'd be another thing we could absolutely talk about. I'm sure there'll be a family vacation
later on, though.
Yeah.
After the coronavirus passes and all that, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have any thoughts on the virus itself and anything you want to share with us? Any opinions, cold takes?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it's just really been it's taken a hit on the economy. I mean, if you looked at today's Dow finally bounced back to over 27,900 points in one day.
Oh, we're going to put a Dow counter in the bottom right.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I think you should do that. The main thing, you got to look at the jobs report. They were anticipating more jobs lost. Yep. They added 3 million jobs in May. Yeah. I mean, the administration's doing a lot of great things, I think. So,
yeah, can you tell us a little bit? Dad brought some wardrobe changes today. So this is the first one. So I guess this is the first phase of the plan.
Absolutely.
Can you address the union and give us a State of the Union address real quick?
Well, I don't know if there's a really, it's more of a, status of the union as we said, here early in June. The past 60 days have been troubling. A lot of businesses have just not, sent everybody home and everybody got fat checks, for the most part.
Except for me.
No. But here's a good learning tool. Yep. Always save as much as you possibly can. So.
Yeah. And when you can't, take vacations. That's what I'm great at. I'm not great at saving. I am great at taking vacations.
But there's still hope for you. So that's a good thing.
Maybe, yeah. I was one of the few people unable to claim unemployment. And to any degree, I did not get the pandemic unemployment. And honestly...
Well, I think you did. There's something missing, evidently.
There's something missing. I think I'm really just too dumb to get unemployment. And that is a testament in itself.
Dumb is a harsh word, Daniel. I don't think I'd say dumb. Maybe...
underqualified?
Ill-prepared to meet the needs of the day would be a nice way of saying it. And to be honest with you, that probably rests on my shoulders a little bit by not training you properly. I probably have failed you a little bit there, Daniel, and I'll do my best to work on rectifying that.
Well, if your only failure is me not being able to claim unemployment.
Like I said, I'm sure it's a technical issue, and
I'm sure.
I'll have my staff look at it and see what we can do for you.
Exactly. So I see right there you have a temperature gun. Have you been checking Mom's temperature as she comes up to the office every day?
No, actually, this was new. This was a gift from the King of Persia. And he sent this to me as a test model because our company, as you know, Indoff, based in St. Louis, INDOFF.com.
Look it up if you need any office products.
Exactly.
Hand sanitizer.
Well, one thing we're getting into right now is PPE products. Thermometers. The thermal thermometers are one thing.
Sorry, did you say PP products?
PPE.
Okay.
I don't know what it stands for and don't really care.
It just makes money.
I'm just here to make some money. So the hand sanitizer is a big plus too. We're getting that in, so that's a good thing. So, but yeah, come here. I'll take your temperature, make sure it works properly. Yeah, that's fine. So, you got to make sure you're only using a thermometer here. So
that sounds malicious, or that feels a little malicious.
Yeah. So see, you're at 97.8. Yeah.
See, I like to be at a cool number when recording. I just feel like it makes for the best content. That's what we're all about here, is putting out good content.
I understand that, and that makes sense. Especially the world we live in now. Everybody just needs to, chill and be cool.
I think that is a word for the wise. After 49 years on the planet, best advice: just be cool. Be cool.
I would say just be cool, be yourself, and don't let anybody, no matter what age you are, don't let them bully you around.
Yeah.
I mean, bullying happens at 20 and 15, and sometimes it happens at 50.
Yeah. So, wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful statement.
Well,
So we wanted to have Tom on today because while it also coincides with my birthday, it's also the week before Father's Day.
Actually 2 weeks before Father's Day.
Well, I'm not good with dates, so let's see if you end up getting anything.
I'm not counting on that, so that's okay.
But so the first question of the day is something that we kind of mess around with Mom about. What is the difference between Father's Day and Mother's Day? Why is Mother's Day more important? Do you feel cheated? I mean, you're just as much a part of the pregnancy process. But
yeah.
You don't carry us, but you carry the weight of us,
Well, I carry the burden of providing for the family unit after the family has arrived.
You could have abandoned us. Did you ever think about going out for a pack of cigarettes any point past 20 years?
No, I never smoked, and that was a good thing. I never did. I mean, I never.
Good for us, at least.
Yeah, I never smoked. Never put anything up to inhale or anything. Never did dope. Never did. Smoke. No cigars. No nothing.
So you're listing your regrets, right?
No, I'm not listening to regrets. I'm proud to say that, actually. I mean, if I go my entire life without it, I'll be extremely happy.
On your deathbed, I'm just going to put a little blunt right in your mouth.
Yeah.
Right under the breathing tube. We'll put it right.
Well, you never know what will happen on my deathbed at that point. They may have something totally new anyway that you could just, think about smoking, and you've smoked. So you just never know.
Not to be too morbid, do you think you'll die peacefully in your sleep? I don't think I will. I think it'll be a horrific accident.
No, actually, I'll probably die alone. I mean, I take the words of, the immortal words of James T. Kirk. I've always known I'll die alone. And that's probably the route I'll go.
Which Star Trek did he say that in?
Actually, it was in Generations. That he actually died. When he said it, though,
that's when
he was in.
They bring in Picard, then, right?
That's when we see the introduction to the Next Generation, folks. Yeah, they tie him in.
We're watching Picard right now. It's been pretty good so far.
It has. We got to get back on it because we're lacking there a little bit. But I believe it was Star Trek V.
Voyage Home.
Yeah, no, that was Star Trek V was a undiscovered country, I believe, or something like that.
Let's see. We got Google right here. I thought 5 was the one in San Francisco.
No, the one in San Francisco was the search for
5 is the Final Frontier. This was one of your favorites, right?
Yeah. That one was okay. My most favorite of the Star Trek, obviously, is Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. I mean, Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
Growing up, on Friday nights was Fantasy Island. He was Mr. York.
Yeah.
And the little dude with him, tattoo, climbed the bell tower to say, "The plane, the plane." And Mr. York and stuff was, "Welcome to Fantasy Island," Yeah, you thought he was like Transylvanian.
So did you think it was perfect casting then for Khan?
I think he was the perfect cast for Khan, yeah. You got to keep in mind the new Star Trek that came out where, we see Benedict Cumberbatch.
What'd you think of him? Do you think he did a good job?
I think he did a great job. Yeah. And there again, I like the casting that they've done for the new Star Trek. I like Chris Pine as Kirk.
I was really disappointed to see JJ step away from them to do Star Wars, especially with how the new Star Wars turned out. I would have liked another 1 or 2 Star Treks.
I don't disagree, but I understand where JJ was coming from. I've talked to him a couple times about it, and the main thing he kept on saying is, if I don't do Star Wars correctly, that whole series is basically lost.
Well, it's lost then, right?
Well,
you got to keep the main thing the main thing.
You got to keep the main thing the main thing. And, he actually did a better job, I think, than what Lucas would have done.
Yeah. Episode 7 was good, I thought. The first one was pretty good. No?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't like that they killed Han.
Harrison Ford's played a lot of characters, and to his credit, Indiana Jones survived, and he's still, survived all his movies, even through the CGI.
I almost wanted to kill him after watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I don't know where he and Steven Spielberg got off on that one, but they really went weird. So.
Spielberg's got some misses for sure. But all right, so back to the topic. What are you excited?
Spielberg does have some misses. You're definitely right.
People don't talk about it. Spielberg has some big swings and misses.
What was the one with Tom Hanks and Joe? Was it Joe the Dirt or Joe the Volcano or something like that?
Oh, let me see. Hold on.
I mean,
Spielberg
it was
movies. Let's see. So. Recently, Ready Player One, I think, was the last one I saw of his. That was pretty good. I'll say that. Did you ever end up seeing that?
I don't like going to the movie to watch a video game. I'd rather play the video game than watch it.
But you also don't play video games.
I don't play video games. I do play games on my iPad. It relaxes me.
It says that he did The Color Purple, but wasn't that Stanley Kubrick?
I don't know. I think he had a share in it.
Oh my gosh. Bridge of Spies, that was one. The Adventures of Tintin, is that what you're talking about?
No, keep on going. This was a Tom Hanks movie.
BFG, that could be any number of
That could be
words.
A couple different things right there.
I didn't know he did Poltergeist, or maybe he did Hook. I mean, he's done, to give him credit, he's done more than I realized.
Yeah, he's done a couple different ones.
Gremlins was good.
Gremlins was good. Now, let me give you some advice.
Yeah.
If anybody ever gives you one of those little Ewok things, that is a gremlin, looks like a miniature Ewok.
They exist, right?
They do, and you can find them at Dollar General on aisle 4 most days.
Yeah.
Don't feed them after midnight.
I found the same is true with some of our family members. You just can't pour water on them. You can't keep them up past midnight,
You really can't, and
it's more your side, right?
Oh, it's definitely my side. Yeah, definitely my side. I mean, I've got good friends and stuff that are like gremlins. You don't give them alcohol after midnight, and you surely don't take it away from them after they've gotten started really good. So you will get called several names, and I'm not saying anybody's name, of course.
You're not gonna name drop.
Nah. I'll protect the innocent at this point. Not that they're innocent.
Fellow Father's Day. Maybe that's what they need to cope with the blanket of Mother's Day over it. So, back on topic. Are you excited for Father's Day?
I actually am this year. This is my first Father's Day in 2020. I am the father of 2 boys that I know of, and it's really fun. It's great to be your dad. I really get a privilege out of doing that. You're a great son, and
again, I'm out here fishing for compliments.
I know
what this is all about.
I know, but going back to your original point, you were asking, what's the biggest takeaway as far as which one's more important? Daniel, going on almost 50 years, I can tell you right now, Mother's Day, if you screw it up, there is no Father's Day.
That was one of the biggest lessons you instilled in me, is just whatever you do, don't screw up Mother's Day. Not even Mom's birthday necessarily, because sometimes we'd be busy, there'd be stuff going on, just whatever you do, don't screw up Mother's Day.
You gotta take care of your mom on Mother's Day, whether you're a son or a daughter, doesn't matter. They're the most important person in your life. And you just need to really make sure that they know what they mean to you. So whether you get a card or just spend time with them.
Do you believe in cards? I know that's been a hot topic.
The older I get, I do like cards. And the reason I do is because then later on, there's going to become a time I don't remember as much. I mean, and there may be a time I forget your name. So,
it's already happened. You called me Quentin yesterday.
Yeah, I probably did. So, just one of those things. But
you keep your cards too. I've noticed that where mom will kind of group them together, put them in the closet or something. Yeah. You keep all yours in the top drawer of your dresser.
Yeah, I do. It's a catch-all, basically.
There's some golf balls and some war memorabilia in there, too.
some Carmex, I think, is in there, too.
We took the Carmex so we could hit straight.
Well, that helps. I mean, and folks, here's a little tip from you, or for you. If you do put Carmex on your golf clubs.
Just the driver. Just the driver, your woods, or whatever. Yeah.
It supposedly does make you hit straighter.
Like, you can see where you hit the ball on it. You gotta reapply every 4 or 5 holes, but it takes the slice out of it a bit. I don't know, something about. I want to learn the physics behind it because it's the first time I've been interested in science.
Come here, you gotta take your temperature again. I'm gonna take mine.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still normal. All right.
But all right. So So do you have any fond Mother's Day memories with your mom, or something that made you learn this lesson, or is it just something that you found?
Well, I mean, I've had several Mother's Day mishaps. I mean, even with my mom, and then even with your mom, as far as when you guys were younger and y'all would create stuff at the school, and I'd say, you got your mom covered, and of course here I am thinking, it's 6 years old, why don't you have your mom covered?
Yeah, and it's just arts and crafts from Spring Hill.
Yeah, exactly. I learned really quick and stuff. One of your mom's love languages is one is words of
affirmation.
Yeah, words of affirmation, and but there's not a mom goes by that she don't want a gift.
Yeah.
So you got your bases covered if you got a gift.
So do you think that it's possible for a mom to not like a gift after all the sacrifice and all that? You think there's anybody who gets a earring or turns their nose up at a necklace or a bracelet or anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was your mom that way? Did she appreciate gifts or?
I really, to be honest with you, my mom didn't probably appreciate the gift as much as she did the time that I gave her.
Yeah.
And did things with her, growing up. As I got older and, as your mom and I started developing our relationship and dating and, getting engaged, my mom didn't really handle
the transition very well.
the sharing of her son very well.
Yeah.
But once the I do's were done and, everything was said. And
how do you think our mom will do? How do you think Tanya will do with us branching out?
She's going to be fine with it. I mean, she and I talk about it from time to time, and, we can't be, more ecstatic for the day you run off and find the special loved one, and get married in a, godly ceremony, of course. And
have y'all placed any bets on the likelihood? Do you think it's going to happen?
There's an over and under. Yeah. Yeah, there's an over and under.
What does Vegas have on the odds?
Well, we're not going to share those and stuff, but I mean, there's over and under. See who's going to go first. So.
Yeah.
But every week y'all surprise us, so we'll see.
Every week. I hope it's not that frequent.
Well, it is what it is.
But all right, so moving on to the second topic. Do you need to swap hats? Is there one for each?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that we're retiring the MAGA hat for now.
Well, I just want to point out to people that this was signed by the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump, and it was an honor for him to get this for me, and I don't wear it out in public all that much because it's a little sign of hostility, but I do support the president. No matter who the president is, by the way, I did support and respect presidents that I didn't vote for after they got the job. So
yeah, that is something that you always taught from a young age. You always respect the office, respect the flag, and it's a tough time going on right now, but hopefully something positive comes from.
Well, you hope so. You hope that you get something positive out of all this. And every 4 or 8 years, you get the opportunity to elect the same president or a new president, and it's just one of those things that has been instilled in me my entire life is the office of the presidency. I mean, if there's one thing about me is the presidency itself. I mean, the history behind the office is just unbelievable, and it's not one of those things that you should take lightly.
DC is one of our favorite cities to visit too.
Yeah,
all the history, and I don't know.
I wouldn't want to go there this week.
No, not right now. But I don't want to travel anywhere right now for the first time in a while.
That's surprising.
That's a rare occasion for me. But I was talking about this with my roommate because he's from Chicago with all the beautiful architecture, and I'm like, DC's just got to be one of the most beautiful cities. Like, no buildings are taller than the monument. I think there's something really cool behind that. It's kind of like the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Like, you can only be so tall. I think there's something kind of historical and prevalent around that. But so do you want to tell us about this hat?
Well,
it's a bit more to the point, I guess.
I know that, a lot of parents who send their kids off to university, they leave the kids, the choice up to the kids, obviously.
You didn't, did you?
No, we did.
Yeah.
You just chose correctly. So, I've been a Bulldog my entire life. I remember growing up and watching.
Well, because your dad was an Oklahoma fan. And
he was.
Your mom was a Bama fan, right?
Yes, we were pretty much a house divided.
So what made you choose the red and black? You grew up watching Herschel, right?
I did, and Herschel was an icon in Georgia, just as Vince Dooley was, and still is actually.
Yeah.
So the unique thing was, very rarely did Georgia ever play Oklahoma or Alabama.
They
Very
played in
rarely.
the Sugar Bowl, right? Was this, or
Well, no, Georgia played in the Sugar Bowl, and that was the national championship in
against
1980
them, yeah.
against Notre Dame, who they went 0-3. Or excuse me, they went 3-0. Excuse me,
Yeah.
I was saying
Don't
it
get
from
it
the Notre.
twisted. We don't lose to the Irish.
No, we don't lose. We don't give up to the Irish. That's for sure.
No, but so did they play? Is that what you're saying? Did they play Oklahoma or Bama ever?
As a child growing up, no, they never did that I can remember. But Oklahoma and Alabama played all the time, and
Because they were always two juggernauts.
yeah, and they would go to the Orange Bowl, or
Yeah.
back then we had 6 bowls.
Yeah.
You
Power
had-
6 bowls.
Basically, you didn't have like you do now. You got a bowl for every basically team. They
Yeah.
can all go to the bowl, and it's like, when you go to the Carmax, Windex, Tostitos, toilet bowl.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not really a bowl.
It's pretty much for any team with a winning season, right?
Well, not necessarily. There's been years that we've had a team that was 5-7, and I
Yeah.
believe that team was Tennessee. And for all my Tennessee friends out there, you should not have gone to that bowl. And I don't remember which one it was because I did not put it to memory. I just remember your record sucked, and they gave you a bowl anyway.
And if you went to that game, you wasted your money.
Well, I think they actually won their game because they were playing a Division V high school.
Yeah.
They had to scrounge up to play them.
Do you think Sandy Creek with Calvin Johnson could match up against Tennessee at some point in history?
No, probably not. I mean, Tennessee couldn't match up.
Yeah.
I mean, at
Calvin
all.
Johnson could just run red.
I mean, it reminds me of my good friend John Madden stuff, where he was, a little play-by-play. You gotta love John Madden stuff. I always loved when he did the Brett Favre things. Here's a guy named Brett Favre stuff who would, if you had a team of Brett Favres playing against a team of Brett Favres, it'd be like, the whole universe would explode. He's right, and Calvin Johnson would be the same. If you had a whole team of Calvin Johnsons,
Yeah.
they could single-handedly just take on the universe.
I mean,
Megatron was awesome.
even one Cam Newton won Auburn and Natty. So, I mean, there's something to be said. There's a lot of local talent.
Cam didn't go to Sandy Creek though.
He's local, though.
Well, yeah, he's local.
Yeah. But, no, so second topic that we want to get into
Yeah.
was Batman. So you obviously grew up.
Yeah, I did.
19, you were 19 years old when 89 Batman came
Oh,
out
we can
with-
even go back even further than that. I
What-
was younger than
So
that.
you grew up on Adam West Batman as a kid?
Yeah, and he sucked then, but I didn't know any better.
Did you have fond memories of him as a kid? Because I remember I watched Batman and Robin and I thought that movie was great till I turned about 9. And I was like, oh. Once Batman Begins came out, it was kind of set the standard.
I think that a lot of people at the time. Now this is a true story. Michael Keaton was cast in the 1989 Batman, and Adam West actually was very PO'd that he
Yeah.
did not get casted for that.
He must have been at least 40 or 50 at this time, though. Right?
He was older than that, but he was still wondering why he didn't get cast.
Yeah.
And he was just, befuddled. But then when you actually saw the
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
of the 1989 Batman, it was
was
actually
great.
dark.
Oh, yeah.
And it took you into what Batman really was. He was not really.
He's not a lighthearted character at all.
No, he's not.
No.
No.
So I remember we watched Batman Returns we got it from Blockbuster when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that movie sucks. It's so boring. But then I went back and watched it, and this is also coming from the kid who liked Batman and Robin and not Batman Returns. But the first two, Batman 89 and Batman Returns with the Penguin, those are pretty great. They still hold up in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Batman Returns should not have actually. It should have been returned because when you put Danny
You didn't
DeVito,
like it?
no, that was terrible.
Really?
That was terrible.
I
Of
thought it was
course,
pretty good because Still same director, Tim Burton, for the first two.
Yeah, and this is where Tim Burton actually is. No one had really seen him before, and didn't really know much about him. I mean, I think he did the Christmas with Jack in the Box that went wild or something.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that one, and a lot. You got to have that wherewithal that you got to really like Tim Burton and his humor.
Yeah, he's definitely out there. The Edward Scissorhands and Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, he's definitely out there. And Charlie and the Chocolate, or Willy Wonka. Yeah, that he made was completely different from.
Well, look at who he had working with.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's actually a great character.
I don't know. I've never been the biggest Johnny Depp fan in any regard. That's probably a cold take, but I've just never really.
I never have really been one, but I'm a fan of the characters he plays.
Yeah, I like The Tourist with him and Angelina Jolie. That was pretty good.
That's a good movie. I like that one. Obviously, Jack Sparrow. I mean, he's going to later on, 50 years from now, when they try and recreate that, they're going to do a throwback to it.
Yeah.
They're going to try and create another Jack Sparrow off of whoever's going to have a kid later on is going to look like Johnny Depp.
And I was never the biggest fan of Pirates of the Caribbean. I liked the first one. I liked the third one. The most recent one was okay, but never. One of my friends pointed out that The Mask of Zorro was better. And have you seen it with Antonio Banderas?
I have.
What do you think to that opinion?
There again, Antonio Banderas is a good actor. Thought that he was very much in his element and did very well.
I think that's a very fun movie, and I was surprised I hadn't seen it before. To me, it was a lot of what Pirates missed.
You don't see a lot of Antonio Banderas movies, and I think part of the reason why is because he chooses the right role for him. He's doesn't
very niche, Well, it's Spy Kids. The dad from Spy Kids cracked me up.
Yeah, he was good there.
Yeah.
There again, Ricardo Montalban, Star Trek: Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. Choose very niche roles so that you just get it right.
Exactly.
So, all right, I guess the question is how does the Joker and Batman combination from '89 stack up against the Dark Knight of 2008?
Oh, man. Well, Heath Ledger was a good Joker for the storyline that they had put together in the later one. The 1989 Joker, the way that, Jack Nicholson played that role.
Yeah.
He was awesome with that, and I really enjoyed watching how he basically took that movie over. You would think Batman was the main character.
Do you think the same could be said for The Dark Knight, though? Because in a lot of ways, it was kind of Heath Ledger's movie.
Yeah, I mean, it really can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they're getting Batman is played by Christian Bale in that one. I think he's a good Batman. It's hard for me to see him in a role, anything other than Batman.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Let me back up.
I don't think he was standout.
No.
I thought he was
I don't think there's really been a standout Batman, really.
I think he was a better Bruce Wayne than Batman. But the same could be said for Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was an incredible Bruce Wayne, and then
he had the humor.
Some of the action from those two, I think, lacked later on. But that could be said about special effects, and Christopher Nolan's not the most action-heavy director.
We got to keep in mind, Michael Keaton was probably 5'10", and Christian Bale's 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he was coming off of Beetlejuice. He's not expecting an action role.
I mean, and then as you saw later on and stuff, the different characters who did play Batman and stuff. I mean, when the Batman suit has nipples on it, that's when you really wonder about special effects. Yeah. Did you have to hit the reset button?
Yeah, we had to hit the reset button. So basically, just for full background, we're operating off a photography camera, a DSLR.
Yeah.
And it resets the video timer after 30 minutes. So I have to set a timer on my phone. It's a bootleg operation out here, but
Well, those things are not that bad to do. I mean, podcasts get started off bootleg operations like this, and then they grow to something be a lot bigger. So hopefully one day this thing takes off, and we'll get you some sponsors and get you into a real studio.
Hopefully I can move out. Hopefully not financially dependent at some point. But for now, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I bet you are.
But anyways, getting back to Batman.
Yeah.
My favorite part about looking back at Batman Forever or Batman and Robin is when you're talking to George Clooney, and George Clooney's like, well, I was never really sold on it.
And it showed.
Yeah, and even in, like, the interviews are like, yeah, we weren't sure about this one.
Yeah. Val Kilmer playing Batman was actually not too bad. He was just arrogant enough to play the Bruce Wayne part.
Yeah.
But Chris O'Donnell
Yeah.
as Robin,
Yeah.
I thought that was a good cast, to be honest with you. I
didn't
thought he
think
was
it was terrible. I mean, I liked that movie for a long time growing up. You know?
I think he was good.
But Val Kilmer, I mean, honestly, if you view it as the Riddler just being Jim Carrey, and like him just doing Jim Carrey stuff, it's not that bad. Like, they're still watchable movies. I think they're not as bad as some other superhero movies.
You know what? When there's nothing else on TV, I'll watch it.
Exactly. I think some.
I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey. I mean, but for the Riddler,
yeah, it's kind of.
That's his role.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you'd cast him as anything other than the Riddler, nah.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see Tommy Lee Jones did come in and play Harvey Two-Face, which was good.
There's some cringeworthy moments from him.
So they got some A actors in there.
Yeah, they really did. They swung. They might have missed, but they swung.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
So do you think Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, they're just different from Keaton and Nicholson?
Yeah, there was no humor in the Bale and Ledger. There was not any humor. I mean, the humor was on Heath Ledger's side.
It was very dark humor.
It was very dark humor, whereas, back in 1989, you couldn't portray a storyline like that and get away with it. I mean, hooking a grenade to someone's mouth and pulling the pin in 1989, that would never have made it into the theater.
And even for the Joker in 1989, they had where he was trying to climb up the ladder, and that's how he died. I thought was still pretty dark. It was still, I don't know. I mean, it's not really comparable, but I watched it as a kid. I was like, damn. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that was for 1989 wasn't too bad, but when he fell, that was the woo falling down, and then you hear that. It's the teeth going on.
Oh my gosh! So did you see it a lot in theaters? Did you like it?
Saw it twice. And typically I'll go see a movie twice. If I really like it, I'll go see it at least twice in the theaters.
What's the most times you've seen a movie in theaters?
10 years old, Superman. No, it wasn't even Superman 2. It was.
First Superman was 78, right?
77. Second one was 79. 1980, I was in Puerto Rico one summer visiting my sister, your aunt.
Yeah.
And we watched The Empire Strikes Back every single day.
79?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 80. It was 80.
Oh, okay, 80.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You watched it every single day?
I was in Puerto Rico, yeah.
Was there nothing else to do? Didn't go to the beach or anything?
Went to the beach. It was just a regular routine.
Yeah.
Went to Burger King, went to the movies, went to the beach.
If only we had that during quarantine where we could go see Empire every day. That'd be pretty good.
Or any movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, or any movie,
I think we both really miss going to the movie theater.
I think the movie theater's changed. I don't think that the dynamics are going to be there the same.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things with this pandemic is just going to be totally different than what we're all used to.
Yeah.
The one term that I cannot stand, and I think Samuel L. Jackson has the perfect meme to it, is say new normal one more time.
Say what again?
And I mean, just, and it's like, there's no new normal.
Yeah.
There's the old way, and then there's today's way.
To tie it in, it's kind of like comparing 89 Batman to 2008 Dark Knight. It's just different.
It's different. It's different times.
So do you think movie theaters will make a comeback?
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Come in, be an industry that if we do see a comeback, I think you're going to see limited movies.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 24 screens showing 24 different movies.
So you'll see more of the direct-to-digital releases that we've been seeing with the streaming and all that.
I think you're going to see more movie production companies fall under the umbrella of a Netflix or an Amazon Prime and just go directly to that way.
They've been doing a good job with it too, but I think what somebody, it was a famous director, the one from Wolf of Wall Street.
Scorsese?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scorsese. Forgot his name for a second.
Here,
But
have
he
some
was.
hand sanitizer.
Thank you. Yeah, we're staying clean, abiding by laws out here. But
And the good thing about this,
smells like vodka. I'm kidding.
it's after 5. We could mix it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
But he said something along the lines of all these streaming services and Avengers and all that. It's just gonna take away from the quality of it all. But then he went and did The Irishman, which was such a good. Did you ever watch that one?
I never saw that one. That's one on my list to see one day.
It's so long. I had to break it up into several views.
Well, the problem I have is I have so many people that want me to go watch this series or that series,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, don't realize. Oh, they do. I'm just an old soul sometimes, so.
Yeah.
At that point and stuff, I mean, there's time for a, hat change, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different movies out there that, I don't know if I'll ever get to in my entire life.
So speaking of TV series, this is one from one of your favorite
Yes,
TV
it
series.
is.
Do
Yes,
you
it
want
is.
to tell us about this hat?
Well, on a visit the last couple years, I was able to go to Carson, California, and see the original fire station of the hit TV show from 1971 to 76, I think it was, or 77. It's called Emergency, and it was really, really phenomenal. It's one of those things. Anybody who knows me knows that I like medical type shows. I like, fire trucks.
72 through 79.
72 to 79, yeah. And I think NBC had them at the time.
Yeah, so it was a big standout show. It was a big success.
It was.
Did you watch it with your friends or your mom and dad?
No, I mean, friends and stuff. I didn't really watch TV. Back then, we didn't watch TV together. We played together outside.
Yeah.
And then we watched, you watch TV with your family at night, Did
you ever go to school talk about the newest episode, anything like that?
No, not back then. Not that I can remember. Or may have, but more than likely not.
Did people just watch less, or was it mostly just something you didn't talk about?
We just didn't think about it. We were outside playing all the time. You got up during the summer. You left the house by 7:30, 8 o'clock. Everybody went out in the woods and played.
Out in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Good. Well, cool. So, so the topic number 3 is what is the best birthday? So, staying on.
For me or for you?
No, just in general. So, this is a big year for both of us. I'm turning 21 next week.
Yep.
Dad is turning 50 this fall. Mom's also turning 50. It's funny, actually, how
She's turning 50 as far as a number, but she still looks 30.
All right, well, I'm not going to comment on that.
I'm just saying, dude.
But, so...
I definitely outpunted my coverage with your mom, that's for sure.
I would say that. I think it turned out that way.
Yeah. So I tell her all the time, I'm sorry I'm not able to reciprocate, with my beauty and stuff, but hopefully my charm gets,
I think so. I think it still have the silver fox going for you.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit. Before you start losing your hair, at least. Do you think that'll ever happen?
I don't know. I mean, my father died young, and he was already pretty much bald. I mean, if I make it to 56 and still have a head of hair, then, well, we'll know we surpassed him. So.
Have you noticed any hair loss or anything? Not to get too personal. But...
No, actually, I have not. I mean, I had one moron a couple weeks ago tell me I had a comb over, and
yeah, we left. We were at the neighbor's house. He's like, "How's your comb over doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave."
Yeah. I think I thought a few choice words and said,
"Thanks, jackass."
Pretty much, and said, thanks, but no, I don't have a comb over.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially during the pandemic and stuff, I felt like a hippie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it was longer and it was kind of flowing out the back. It was kind of dangerously close to a mullet.
Almost.
Yeah, but you have a funny proposal story, or at least marriage story. So your birthday's in August, Mom's is in October.
Yes.
And you had to get married in September. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that I always told your mom was I wanted to be older than her when we got married.
Now, is this out of vanity or is this for some specific reason?
Just so that I said I was older than her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So September naturally was the date that we chose. It was a great day, and it was actually kind of unique how we wound up Getting married in September, it was.
Yeah.
I remember distinctively. I was working down at Pizza Hut, and it was down in Thomaston, I think, and I had kind of just taken over that store, and
you were a manager.
I was manager. My 21st birthday, I got promoted, and I was the youngest manager in the state of Georgia at the time.
Hell yeah.
Pizza Hut, exactly.
So there's still hope for me? I can still manage a Pizza Hut? Maybe.
Not by Wednesday, but...
We can maybe make it happen, pull some strings.
But yeah, I mean, the day of my birthday, I got promoted. I remember having to go right to work that day. I didn't even celebrate my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
We celebrated your mom's 21st birthday in style, but...
Well, yeah, do you want to tell that story? Because I don't know if mine can live up to that 21st.
Well, we did sell some tickets and hired a guest DJ, a local radio personality. And
yeah, not just any DJ. Y'all got, like, one of the biggest radio.
His name was Major Tom, and he was on, at the time, was Star 94.
Was that your alter ego, Major Tom?
No, not a bit, but... I wanted to do something nice for your mom. You know, I was madly in love with her, and still am today. And back then, though, as far as, you know, when you know you want to marry your best friend, you do anything and everything. So we.
So you rented out a venue, right?
We weren't actually even dating at the point.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't even dating. We were just friends.
So do you think this partially sealed the deal then, this party?
Well, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. I mean, we sold tickets and rented out a ballroom at the Holiday Inn up at Old Dixie in Clayton County. Now I think it's a halfway house. I don't know, but
what's a halfway house?
It's pretty bad. But as far as that goes, yeah, we had a good time, good party, and then from there on and stuff, I told her, I said, you know, I don't want to be your best friend. I want to be married to you, and you know.
Yeah, just happened. She called you, right? She's like, what are you doing next September?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She looked at the calendar and says, well, what are you doing next September? And I think I was in the middle of a rush at Pizza Hut, and I said, I don't know, what am I doing? She said, why don't we get married then? I said, I
gotta cook this pizza first, but I'll get on it.
Yeah, well, it's all history from there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. It's good to know it's not shotgun because I mean.
No, it was not a shotgun.
Yeah, it was actually.
In fact, we waited several years to have kids because we enjoyed each other's company that much.
Yeah, and then one day it was just like, I've had enough. Let's have them.
No, I mean, we, as with anything with your mom, we plan as much as we possibly can.
Sure. Of course.
There's always a plan.
There's always a plan. So, what is the best birthday? There's obviously big contenders. Sweet 16, 21's a big one.
For me, what was the best birthday? Or are you just talking about in general?
In general, and perspective on turning 50, do you feel like it's bigger than any ones you've had before? Where do you think it ranks amongst the other ones?
Well, I hadn't had it yet, so I don't know. There's a good chance I may not make it. You never know.
With everything going on, it's possible.
I think that in a young person's life, there are certain different levels that you reach. I think that there are certain stages of your age that you distinctively remember. So, for example, I remember turning 16. Back then, you could go get your driver's license the day of your birthday, and you didn't have to wait a year like you do now.
Yeah,
in between
from your learners.
From your learners, exactly. I could have gone to get my learner's permit a month earlier and then go to get my regular driver's license the day of my birthday when I turned 16.
Yeah.
Today it's totally different. You got to hold on to it for a year.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, distinctively that birthday. I remember going out and driving.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a car that you bought or?
No, my first car was a 1977 Ford LTD with a 460 police pursuit engine in it, and man, that thing would go. Got 8 miles to the gallon. Had a 25-gallon tank, so 200 miles was max, and a lot of Friday nights I'd max that thing out. But it only cost $8 to fill it up at the time too.
So I'm not familiar with a Ford LTD. Is it a big car, small car?
You've seen the movie Star Wars where they're in the Land Cruiser, right?
Yeah.
And what do you call that thing?
The speeder.
The speeder.
Yeah.
It's about like that.
So no wheels. It just floated.
Well, it actually had wheels, but once you pressed the gas, it actually lifted up.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever have the suspension or any tricked out
No,
stuff out on
no.
your car?
I kept it a normal car.
Yeah.
Because it was not really worth putting anything into other than gas.
So what was your favorite car you've owned then? You've only owned
Favorite car?
You've owned a few. I mean, mostly just a couple trucks over the past. 20
Well,
years.
as when I was younger, I would basically get a new car every 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was like, I'm bored. I need a new one.
Yeah.
And
Just sell
you
it,
know,
trade up,
sell it, trade up,
like a cell phone.
kind of something like that.
Yeah.
And but by far, I think the best car I ever had was my 2006 red F-150 that your Uncle Barwin just recently bought.
All reliable.
Yeah, it was 13 years old and still running today, and that was neat to see. It's neat to see how I pass that along to somebody who appreciates the truck. But
Yeah.
that truck did a lot of. It was a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah. It's what we grew up on.
It
you know,
was,
Soccer
and-
practices, Bon Jovi listens, Van Halen, you know.
I must admit, though, the truck I'm in now, it's probably got to be my most favorite vehicle.
Yeah. I think it was only hard to get over the red truck for a short period till you got the new one, right?
Pretty much, if I didn't have the new truck
The new
when
one
I
is
sold
nice.
the red truck, in other words, I didn't want to trade the old truck in because they wouldn't give me anything for it.
Yeah.
It had more sentimental value to me than
Yeah.
anything.
Because you had already put in a whole bunch of new parts for it and everything.
Well, not so much that. It was just I kept it maintained,
Yeah.
and 350,000 miles later, it'd been a good truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember coming home from college and there had been a debate because Mom wanted a new car and I was driving. So, you bought me the Escape, rest in peace, a couple of years back. And it didn't turn out to be for me, but then it kind of, it was my car. And, I thank you for that. And I'm sorry for what happened there. I wrecked it on the way to the SEC championship. But I remember coming home before that. Mom was thinking about getting a new car. There was just something going on where the truck was dying and you were talking about either taking the Escape, and I was coming home and was like, man, I hope I don't have to give this car up. But then you gave me a car, you're like, yeah, man, I was like, how's the car hunt going? Like, oh, it's going pretty good. We went out and looked today. I was like, this guy bought himself a new truck. I know. So I pulled in and he's like out there standing in the yard just like kind of looking at it. And I'm like, I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I mean, I will say this. I mean, I pretty much knew what I wanted, and that Saturday we took you to college, moved you into. I guess it was just last year.
Yeah.
We moved you into the apartment you're in now.
Waterford. Yeah.
We, driving home, your mom said, I don't think I'm ready for a new car, and she just said, you got to go to get you a new truck because this one's old. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's paid for.
I came back the next weekend to build that table, and then we ended up moving it. That was the first trip to Athens in the new truck, right?
It was, but I mean, the funny thing about it was, she said Saturday on the way home, she says, you ought to go look. You ought to get you a new truck.
That's all you needed. Just 5 days later?
Nope. 2 days later. I'd actually gone to 2 different dealerships. The first one was in Fayetteville. It was a Ford dealership. I won't name who it was, but they suck. And didn't want to, really strike a deal. And I didn't need all the bells and whistles on the truck that they were offering. And
you're also a tough negotiator when it comes to new trucks and cars.
I can make a deal. I mean, I can make a deal because at the end of the day, they need to make a sale, and I need a vehicle. But I don't need a vehicle that bad.
I've never seen that side of you until we went and bought the truck. He's like, or the car together, and there's a whole other side of Tom that came out.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends and stuff that are actually master negotiators, and they're very good at it. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of the skills stuff as far as that goes is basically not being afraid to ask what it is you want.
Yeah.
And if it's a good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, being in business for myself for years, I understand they've got to make a profit. And it's, my job is to get the best deal for me.
Yeah.
Their job is to get the best deal for them. Yeah. Somewhere along the way, we just, meet in between. If you remember that one,
Yeah.
That was an unheard deal that we ever did because, I mean, the guy at the desk just wanted to go back and forth. And finally,
Oh, yeah.
I told, Mike Vigil, I said, let's just stand up here and hash this thing out really quick.
Yeah, you got his boss in the room. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, my God. I was just sitting there just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. But it ended up working out. I think it was funny because you're like, I'm going to keep coming up here and getting the car service from y'all. So that's added money. And it was like... There was a lot where I was like, I was very impressed, but there's a lot of nuggets of wisdom that you've been dropping on us.
Well,
today.
I've been trying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sinks in, but I've tried.
So, all right. So, any final thoughts on the best birthday? You think 16, 21? You said 16, right?
Well, I just remember my 16th as far as it's a big pivotal point in your life. You get it, you're able to drive.
Yeah.
17's nothing. 18,
18's okay. It's more going on.
18's okay, yeah. 21 was good. It's different now for a 21-year-old compared to what it was in 1991.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I mean, a lot of kids back then, they weren't policed as far as, getting in and out of bars or anything like that. Nothing like that.
Yeah. Some could say in Athens they're not still.
No, probably not. Probably not. But, I mean,
yeah.
I know for me, turning 30, turning 30 was actually hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one where I was like, man, I'm not ready for 30.
Yeah.
But then as 40 came around, 40 I was happy about. I was like, I'm 40.
I think we had a pretty good 40th for you.
I think so.
I think it was a good one.
I think it was. I mean, this year, this is going to be a pivotal birthday in my life where I've already started feeling this for a long time.
Yeah.
Where, I'm on this, officially you're on the second stage of second half of life.
Yeah. You could make it a 101. You could.
You could. Yeah. It'd be miserable. And, with science and technology, you never know.
Yeah.
But I think that's all in your mindset. So,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes I think that's one of those things where you go out and you work. And I think you just keep on working. It's like Kirby Smart says.
Just keep on chopping.
Keep on chopping.
Yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't matter what age you're at. Just keep on chopping.
Yeah.
You may chop slower as you get older.
Yeah.
You may chop faster. You never know.
Yeah. You might have to buy an automated chopper for you, but you can go out and...
You may have to have somebody chopping it for you.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I think that you have to embrace each day and be thankful that, God allows you to wake up.
Yeah.
Have your family, during this pandemic time. And, I've enjoyed having you guys home and enjoyed spending time with you. A lot of times we've gotten on each other's nerves, and like any other family, that's normal.
Yeah.
But I think through all this, if anything, if you've learned through it, that's, I wouldn't want to do it any other way. I wouldn't want you to go through this pandemic without me or your mom.
Yeah.
So, so back to the birthdays, I've seen people embrace it. I've seen others just cry over it. I'll be honest with you, Daniel, every day I wake up, I embrace it, and I'm happy.
Yeah. So
I'm just glad to be here.
You're excited for 50 then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got good plans for you. I can't. It's still surprised, but we've got good stuff cooking up for you.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and it's months in advance, so hopefully they'll come into fruition. I think they're gonna be big. They're gonna be huge.
Beautiful.
Beautiful and huge.
Go build that wall.
Yeah, I know I'm excited for 21. I'm not going to comment on the walls.
Okay, all right.
I'm excited for next week, and thank y'all for listening. If you didn't get me anything, I'll make sure to include my address if you want to ship any gifts.
Absolutely. Or you know what you could do? You could just actually take time out, send him a text, tell him what what he means to you in your life, and be done with it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anything. Look at him.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he just got that hat, and he's already worn it.
I mean, I wear things to death if I get a new article of clothing.
Yeah.
5 times in a row.
Yeah. How many times have you been in that Masters jacket?
Quinn's trying to do 21 pictures of me in the Masters jacket for 21, and I think I got it a month ago, maybe. I love it. I love it. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and
you want to shake my hand at least?
Here. Well, we got to do the golf. There you go.
There you go.
A deal has been struck.